ADAN, big moments like this are nothing new for you and your great mare, Allspice. Describe the magnitude of this win tonight in Globe Life Field.
This is all new. That we have not been able to be on a stage like this. I can't tell Teton thank you enough for giving us the opportunity, for absolutely putting on a spectacular show, and thank you for letting the world see what we do.
ADAN BANUELOS, lifetime earnings over $6.3 million. You won nearly $900,000 in 2023 alone. You are the #1 NCHA leading open rider. And of course, you won last year's American Performance Horse in front of 18,000 people. How is it, man? How do you consistently find your way to the winner's circle?
Well, I'm very blessed. We've got this has all been my family has done this, you know, for a long time, and a lot of uncles and my mom and my dad, and growing up in it, I had a little better go at it than a lot of people, just because of all the doors that my dad's opened and all the things that I've learned off my uncles. And it's hard to kind of admit, you know, that those are the stats, and I don't feel that way, you know. I think that confidence is a big deal, but also trying to keep your head level and not look into it. Just like when there's bad days, the same thing. So bad days end, you know, and the next day is a new day, and the next day you got to go back to work. And so I would say that I have a huge support system around me with my family and my team and all that, and that's what I owe them a lot of it.
You had a special moment last year. I remember I was there at the American watching, and during the national anthem, you and your dad had a special moment. What does that mean to have your dad on your team in there helping you win?
Having my dad in there is that's a lot of what gets me going, you know, and having, I know how hard he's worked for how long, and him being in the Hall of Fame, there's a lot of things that I've been fortunate enough to win that he worked for a long time. Sharing that moment with him and like winning the futurity and stuff, and my dad being in there able to turn back for me and help me and keep me, you know, kind of settled and confident and calm and all that, like that's a pretty special thing. When you walk into a building like that and you look up and you're like, man, this is a whole new, you know, playing field, and that's more important to me a lot of times, getting to share that with my dad and my mom and my family than it is than the outcome.
And that's what was cool, because like I said, that was during the national anthem. You hadn't won that thing yet. You were just, it seemed grateful to be there, and grateful
Yes,
that
very much.
Your dad was there with you.
Very much.
Describe the feeling walking in Globe Life Field for the very first time.
The first time that I walked in there, I walked in on Allspice, and there's a lot. The horses have an energy to them that you can feel. You know, when a horse walks into a place and it's like, man, this is overwhelming, or hey, I'm home, guys. You know, and that's how she felt. She felt like, so walking in on a horse like that I have that much confidence in. It was settling.
In 2018, you are NCHA Futurity Reserve Champion aboard Bad Boon Horizon. 2019, NCHA Futurity Reserve Champion, riding twice in Santiago, and then of course in 2020, you win the NCHA Futurity riding Allspice. What is it that these horses have in common?
They care, all of them. they care, and like I remember my first fraternity finals, it just happened, you know, and it was great. We marked some 17s consistently through there, and a 19 maybe in the semis, and then you look up and you've got a lot going on with other horses and customers and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm like, I could make the fraternity finals, and then you do make it, and those horses were very important to me, that they got me going. And then you get into horses like Bad Boone Horizon and Twice in Santiago, Allspice, and I probably would have screwed a lot of things up if those horses would have come along sooner, you know, and just because those horses give you a sense of confidence, and you feel like you can ask for more and do more, and you learn along the way that more isn't always more, you know. So you got to keep them in mind, and getting all that stuff out of the way, and then showing up to the finals on a Bad Boone Horizon, and those mares, Twice in Santiago, Allspice, you end up enjoying the ride a little bit more, and it's not so much about crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Like when you get to the finals, you just go show. It takes good horses, you know, but it also takes somebody that understands what's too much, and having confidence that the horse has got it. You know, sometimes we forget that, and we try to do too much ourselves, and manage things, manipulate things, instead of just trusting in the 2 years that you put into it, and enjoying the ride.
So last year was the very first year the American Performance Horseman was a thing in Arlington. How did you go about preparing for that event with so many unknowns?
Yes, exactly. Just like that. Like there's nobody to call, there's no footage to watch. It's the first one. So to me, I think we just tried to get ready for as much as possible, and I can't stress enough how much it matters that your horse is comfortable, you know, and places like that, anywhere, but more so a place that you've never been, because you know that your jitters are going to get in. You know that we can all stay calm and this and that, but at the end of the day, if your heart rate's not pumping, then you shouldn't even be there. You know, like those are big moments, and so I think that the way that I prepared, without giving specific details, was going to be a bigger pen, one of the biggest arenas that we get to go to, and we just planned on doing a lot of traveling and not that much stopping and not that much pressure to get tight, just because you've been there and it turned out well, and well, how do you get ready this year? Well, try to stay the same, you know, and not let that, I do feel like there's a little pressure off of me, because, you know, we were lucky and fortunate and all that last year, but now try not to let me already be there influence the way I prepare this year.
How does that, how do you handle that though? Coming in ranked number 2, coming in as the former champion, dealing with the expectations, the pressure to do it again.
I really want to do is not embarrass my horse, you know, and get cut as clean as possible, and a lot of times, like that first cow will tell you, you know, if it's, I try to work all first cows the same during runs, and you'll feel like, okay, today's the day we can press it. You know, today I feel like my horse is ready, and we've got some good rhythm and stuff, but just getting that first cow cut clean and behind you is the most important thing to me. And then after that, you know, you just kind of go with the flow.
It's so interesting to watch you show, because I feel like you're one of the most creative showmen in the cutting horse industry today, and just for that reason, right? Like the decisions you make in the moment, most people wouldn't do. Most people don't have the awareness to do. You're truly a master at
No,
the craft of cutting.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
And what do you think it is? What is it that you have figured out about how to win that others may be missing?
I think failing is something you can't go without to be a winner. So whenever people ask questions about certain things, you can tell that they just haven't failed enough, you know. And to me, anybody that looks down on you or makes fun of you or laughs at any moments like that in the show pen, that's not a winner, you know. So you let a lot of that anxiety go and a lot of that negativity go by knowing that the people that you respect that have helped you along the way, they have failed as well, you know. So those little moments where you're, you know, one step matters, and this cow's being real sensitive, and you can mess it up in an instant. It's easier than that, you know. Sometimes this thing is so easy that it's difficult to do because we all have something burning inside of us to win, and we want to try harder and this and that. But sometimes just the simplicity of letting things happen is important. And so, like, if I feel that in the herd and I'm like, man, one little step, that's a warning, and you got to listen to those warnings. You know, you got 4 guys, like you said, you got 4 horses that they're riding, you've got your own nerves going on, and the horse that you're riding, and then 50 head of cows, and everybody trying to help you, and sometimes it can just be too much. And you give your guys out there helping you a better shot whenever you go with the flow a little bit more, instead of trying to force something and them having to force something, and it doesn't mix well.
Who would you say is your biggest competition coming into this year's American?
Myself. Yeah, myself. I have a lot of respect for the people that are there, and some of them have been heroes of mine that, you know, growing up, like Austin Shepherd. I can't tell you enough how great of a person he is for all competitors, you know, and he keeps a very level head, and from the time that I was very little, like, he would stop and help me if I asked for help, and so, you know, Casey Deary, my dad's rode with him. I went over there, and I know that's, you know, a different event, but it's just a great feeling being able to walk into an arena of heroes, you know, and being able to compete with and against, and however you may look at it. But to me, it's a special thing. You don't get that many good athletes in the same building with that many different events. It's a big deal, and that, because you love this since you were a kid, you know, since before you're good at it. You know, this is like my first love was working with horses before I ever knew that I was going to be any good or anything like that. So you have all that building inside of you, and you carry it with you, and then you look up and you're like, man, I'm in the same pen with all the people that I've looked up to, I've called, you know, and got a lot of help from. So that's why I'm my biggest competition, and being able to keep your head where it needs to be.
And there's so many variables to the game of cutting, and most of which are out of your control. And what I saw last year at the American, that atmosphere is just so electric, and the noise is like no other show I've ever seen. How do you plan to handle that this year? Because cutting, you know, is different than the reining and the cow horse. That's somewhat of a one-man deal, but you have 4 guys in there, 2 corner guys helping you, and you need to be able to hear them.
You can't hear anybody.
You can't hear anybody, is
no.
what it seemed like.
No, and
what is the game plan for this year?
Well, I'm doing my very best. Like, just you asking me, I already have things going in my head that I'm trying to keep out, you know. So that, like, I think that the American does such a great job of giving everybody the best opportunity, and they put, you know, like 5 cows per rider. It was more than that. It was a big bunch of cows. So so trying not to get too locked in and too focused on, like last year I worked a cow, I was third, Austin Shepherd cut a cow, he was first, and I come back and cut the cow, you know, so, and that's with 50 head of cows out there, and I'm only third, and I end up working a rerun and winning, which I did buy the cow, and the cow's here, and the cow's gonna live forever, but.
I heard that, so you still have them.
Oh, absolutely. And so even with all that, you know, like I think I have in the past gotten too focused on like, that's a rerun, don't do it. You know, there's a lot of, in my mind, a lot of what's supposed to happen is gonna happen. You know, don't go down there trying to force the way that everything's going right now. Like that's the way it looks like it's fitting. Just, you know, ride your wave a little bit, and I'm lucky that I did it, because it was hard for me to do when I saw the cow up there that's already been worked, and I'm like, no, but how many times have I messed that up? You know, and gone and screwed up a cut and taken points away from me instead of trusting my horse, and all the preparing that we've done to hold a cow for, you know, 10, 15 seconds. In that moment, it builds into something that's so scary, you know, and this and that, and you got to let a lot of that go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You just have to, sometimes it's meant to be and meant to happen, and just go with it.